Welcome to Architectural Engineering Student. And what this is stated to be is a condition in the shipping container, moment of inertia. And this is not the original condition. This is a condition that was in part scribed onto another page in further consideration from the condition that the equation for the moment of inertia that was developed previously was stated to be an equation that had an incorrection. It was a strange, unusual result that had occurred, and that it was not the correct solution. One looked at it again and said, that's not the correct solution. Now, I'll just state that it does occur that way sometimes. But some people might have also observed that it wasn't the truer solution along the theory development path, and so they went on their path and they then corrected that solution based on their knowledge in algebraic manipulation and substitution. So what we're talking about this day then, they had their condition, and then the one state, if other ones then corrected the condition, then they would have their version of what they really thought was the truer condition in the equation in the theory development, and then they could compare one another's based on the work that they had done. When we talk about sharing the knowledge in such equation, that's the thing that gets people along their path to have something better than perhaps they had previously. So this is the condition here. This is the preliminary speculative building design, shipping container, vertical perimeter, moment of inertia. And this consideration in the shipping container, vertical perimeter, and the shipping container design as far as the response spectral condition occur is 3 of 3 pages, but this moment of inertia portion is page 1 of 3. And so then we come down here, this is, as we know, the theory development, and we'll go ahead and talk about this. So here's our section, and our section, as we know it, it's got a thickness T, and it's got a flange breadth there, and we've got then what's said to be this 1/2 flange breadth, and we call this a symmetric section as it's defined being by the image that occur there. It's got its center line both ways, and the center line from thickness to thickness there defines that distance D. And D, as we know, is the distance from the flange center line to the neutral axis center line. And then T sub F is said to be the flange thickness. We come down here by brief discussion, as before, the normality equation is I equals 2A sub F D squared. In that condition, that's a rough estimate of what that is, and this portion here, that's the shear element to transfer that shear bending condition, the so-called shear that's parallel to the flanges. In the moment of inertia equation, it's not considered because it's a very small moment of inertia by the individual study done, and so it's just stated to be neglected in the equation, so the equation becomes a lot simpler and just becomes I then equals 2A sub F D squared. So then we say see volume 49 for the other condition and calculate moment of inertia without using that very simple equation based on the symmetric condition that occur. So we get down to where I is the bending moment of inertia, the vertical perimeter section. A sub F equals the area of the flange, that equals T sub F B sub F. We have D equals T minus T sub F divided by 2, and D squared is T minus T sub F divided by 2, and then all to the second power, and that's a squared term. And that's by substitution. So then we have a further substitution then into our equation from I equals 2A sub F D squared, and I becomes 2T sub F B sub F times the quantity T sub F minus T minus T sub F squared divided by 4. And that's that whole portion squared there. It's T minus T sub F divided by 2 squared, and so that actually ends up being t minus t sub f squared, then divided by 4 by algebraic rule. And so then we have the condition the thing becomes then t sub f b sub f times t, the whole quantity, t minus t sub f squared, then divided by 2. And so then from that then I becomes t sub f b sub f times t minus t sub f times t minus t sub f, and that whole top portion then divided by 2. And so then we take a t sub f out of that portion, and we have t sub f squared b sub f equals t minus 1 times t minus 1, and then that whole quantity on the top then divided by 2. And so then our strange, unusual equation by substitution that we have then is said to be I is equal to t sub f squared b sub f times the quantity t minus 1 squared, and that whole top term then divided by 2. And that's said to be based on the knowledge that the one had in what's said to be correction of the mistaken condition, because the one had forgotten that the d was squared in the normalcy equation. And so this is said to be perhaps a better condition in the knowledge in that moment of inertia of the section for the shipping container in spectral response analysis. But could we say that that was the absolute correct equation and the one that we wanted to use? And we say, well, we wouldn't say that based on our knowledge, but some people would say in their preliminary spec of design, it might be all right to use the condition in that equation. So we know that from the second condition effort and having the theory development be correct, there's a statement in we don't know if it is correct, and once again there's a verification process that can occur based on the consent of those that have knowledge in such considerations in numerical analysis, including, as some people say, numerical analysis teachers at a particular level in the G grade condition. And so that's this time in architectural engineering student.